An HR director discovers through local news that an employee was arrested at a political protest over the weekend. Worried about company reputation, the CEO terminates the employee on Monday for conduct detrimental to the company. Employers can generally terminate an employee for any reason as long as it's not unlawful. And the list of what is unlawful, thankfully, is relatively short. One of the things that you will find in different states is that some states protect what's called lawful off-duty conduct. As in, if an employee engages in some sort of conduct while they're not on the clock, not representing the company, they're just on their own time, and they do something that's lawful, an employer cannot terminate them or otherwise discipline them for them. In some states, there's only a handful of those. California, New York, Colorado immediately come to mind. In some other states, there are laws that protect off-duty political conduct, this is kind of in that same realm. The idea being specifically for political conduct, not just generally things that are lawful. And in those states, you might also get in trouble here. But this is another question where you really have to dig into what actually happened here. Because you don't want to just take this idea that an employee was engaged in political conduct and was arrested over the weekend at face value, right? You don't really know what they were arrested for. You don't know if that arrest was valid, all that sort of stuff. But things that you can regulate would be, let's say this person was at a political protest over the weekend and it wasn't a peaceful protest, or they weren't engaging peacefully in that protest, or they were otherwise representing the company poorly. Those are all the types of things that you can regulate, right? You can say, this employee is reflecting terribly on our company because they're out there kicking and screaming and throwing eggs, toilet paper at whatever position that they are trying to oppose, and that's bad. Right? And that's very different from the employee who's just peacefully engaging in protest on the streets, supporting a certain cause or issue or whatnot. That sort of stuff you can typically regulate. The problem is, where do you draw that line between conduct that's okay and conduct that went over the line? And that's why these types of situations are super, super sticky for employers, because you almost feel like you're rolling the dice on, if this employee did this in this way, am I in the right for getting rid of them? Was the conduct bad enough, the behavior bad enough? Or was it just a natural extension of their otherwise lawful political activity, and that it was just maybe a little bit heated or a little bit elevated? If you get hit with a lawsuit on this, you are likely going to want to consider settling. You can't really predict how a judge or a jury might rule on this type of thing. And so before you actually terminate, talk to an employment lawyer. It might only take a quick phone call to go over the details and do that, but it could save you a lawsuit that is probably at minimum 6 figures.